Heather, I found out today my friend's just actually escaped a cult. It was a cult of mimes. He's not said what's gone on. All I know is they done unspeakable things to him.
That's like dad joke of the year.
I thought it was good.
Of course.
True crime.
True crime. True crime.
True crime.
True crime.
Your true crime. You want the boring stuff? Shit. You in the wrong place.
I hear shots! Okay, ma'am, calm down. What kind of shots?
I was branching out. That's when the cannibalism started. Eating of the heart and the arm muscle.
People say Ted Bundy didn't show any emotion. There must be something in that. I showed emotion. You know what people say? See, you really can get violent and angry.
As long as I can reach in your mind and control your fear because you're a coward, I'm going to play any game and I can play on you all the way to the White House.
The cops knew who I was and let me become a serial killer.
Making me feel that they were a part of me.
Give me the fire department or the police or the paramedics. Somebody. I don't care. You decide.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Well, we ain't like everybody else.
Hello and welcome to the You Run Podcast True Crime. My name is Scott.
And I'm Heather.
And we are your fortnightly true crime podcast with a little bit of personality. We're not just going to sit here and go, and then they entered the bedroom and stabbed them. We're going to be human beings.
Yes.
We give you the facts. We scatter in lots of our opinions. We even occasionally crack a joke or two, which has now become a thing at the beginning of the show because many people who listen to our horror movie review show have said that I should do it here. So it's here. You pick the cases each and every month. You decide what we're going to cover, and you do that through our social media at You Run Podcast on Facebook, Twitter. Well, it's X now, but was Twitter, Threads, Slasher app, TikTok, and Instagram. On the last episode, I said that we were going to have some dedicated channels. We were going to pick a couple of our social medias and make them purely true crime. You come at me in your droves and said, don't do that because I'm not on all of the social medias.
No.
So it's the You Run podcast. You told me no, so it's a no. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a pledge that I'm going to post something true crime related every single day on every single social media and make them a more even mix, which is kind of what was agreed with all the people who reached out going, well, I'm not on everyone. Which one are you going to choose? Oh, this is unfair. And I went, oh, look, I'll tell you what, I'll just post more true crime stuff for you.
Well, I kind of feel the people. I want to say kind of thank you for that. Because I'll be honest, like, I don't tweet or X whenever. No. Well, this is the thing. Like, I do have a Twitter and I have a TikTok. Please do not follow me, guys, because I mean, follow me if you want, but like legit, if you send me some shit, it might take a month before I even open it. I just don't actively use it. So like TikTok and Twitter are two that like, and then what'd you say? Threads? Like
Threads, Slasher app. And
I don't know that one.
If you want Heather, you need to go to @Wednesday Wine and Horror on Instagram, and you will find her there. Give her a follow. She will say hello, say you love the show, say Heather's cool. If she thinks you're not a weirdo, she will follow you back. She will vet you first.
If you have more than like 4 followers, probably, because that's what I'm getting lately, Scott, is it'll be like John Jones Jr. or something, and it's like, not request, but follows me, and then I'm like, bitch, you just made this page because you got like 1 follower, and you following 74,000 people.
You know, I said before that I'm getting lots of messages about advertising gothic jewelry and things like that. I got one literally just before we recorded, and I want to share it with you. It's hilarious. Ready?
All right.
Hello there. This is Victor from whatever account it is. Your profile has entranced us. It is clear that your mystique would harmonize perfectly with our gothic clothing brand. We're extending this ethereal invitation to you, inviting you to collaborate with us and bring your enchanting charm and to our dark, elegant designs. To show our appreciation, we're thrilled to offer you the finest selection of garments entirely free of charge. It gets better. We believe these pieces will resonate with your essence and elevate your mystic allure further. Please send a message back so we can sort out your free gifts.
What are okay, this is my thing. I just spit all over my keyboard. But anyways, like seriously, you don't really post photos of yourself because the page is dedicated to the shows and the horror movies and true crime and so on. So like you might be in like a reel that you do, but how do they know you so mystical and got all the style?
I don't know. Someone call into the show. You can do that by leaving us an audio DM on any social media. Call into the show. Confirm that I'm mystical. I'm a mystical man.
Can I please read mine? Because legit, I just got one.
Okay, go on.
Okay, I'll do it fast. All right, so this is from, I don't know how to say the name because it looks like a lot of letters, but it says, "Hi, I'm Eva from @Swim and Swimmenden Official." I don't even know. "And I'm absolutely captivated by your style and confidence. Your unique charm is exactly what we're looking for to redefine beauty standards with our lingerie brand." First of all, that was passive aggressive as fuck because they're trying to say I'm ugly. Anyway, imagine showcasing our exquisite lingerie sets tailored to empower and celebrate every curve with your grace and elegance. Together, we can create a visual story that resonates with women worldwide, inspiring them to embrace their individuality. I invite you to embark on this empowering journey with us. Please connect with us at our official Instagram page at SwimEndo Official. I don't know.
So if all of a sudden this show disappears, Heather's gone to model lingerie and I'm modeling gothic jewelry.
I mean, like if anybody is more gothic, it's probably me.
Yeah.
But I'm still not. But it might be more of my like piercings and my tattoos.
If I get one offering for me to model lingerie, I'm gonna say yes and see where it goes.
Do it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they have no followers. So this message, I have to go to my request box, and I saw it, and I said, "Wait a minute, that's weird." And anyways, okay. So you guys, it happens to the best of us.
You can also get in contact with us by sending us an email at yourunpodcast@gmail.com. Any messages we get, we'll read on the air. If you've never listened before, the first show each month is the episode that covers the bones of the case. It gives you the outline and kind of all of the facts. And then on this episode, which is our extended cut episode, we go into some of the more crazy elements, some listener input, and our newest feature, True Crime Corner. We share some of your true crime stories. This is where we also give you more information to go and investigate the case further and just dig deeper. When I say more crazy stuff, this case is particularly crazy. So last time we covered the Heaven's Gate cult and their belief that you're going to go to the mothership with the help of some mass suicide and go and be with Alien Jesus and Bonnie. We went through the formation of the cult, their beliefs, and then we kind of wrapped up the episode with the mass suicide, which was 39 people died, where they ate poisoned apple pies and drunk poisoned vodka. It's really, the end of it's really, really sad.
And they put bags over their heads as well, like right before they laid down, and that's basically they suffocated, is what I would say. Like they suffocated too.
But it's fine because they all ascended to the mothership.
Yeah, they were Bonnie.
On this episode, we're going to discuss their theories a little bit more in depth, along with some recent revelations from multiple governments across the world.
Already
maybe they weren't completely wrong. We're also going to be sharing a story of murder, sex offences, which has been missing from our last two episodes. So we're going to do that in True Crime Corner. We're going to be hitting you with some insane facts of the Heaven's Gate cult. These guys are another level of insane.
For sure.
We're also going to be sharing who's keeping their website going, because even though this happened in 1997, their website is still going and is still run, and we're going to tell you who's running it and what they are, and so then you can go and look into them as well.
I left that for you, sir, because I was like, I know Scott's excited about having to, he loves it. So I was like, well, let's see what he's got to say, because you were teasing it at the in the episode.
Like when I found the website was still up, and I hope people went and had a click around like I asked on the last episode. But when I found it was up, I was like, the first thing, because we've got a website and it costs money to keep that website up, and you have to renew it every year. And when I saw the website was still up, I was like, who the fuck is keeping this website up? And then it's like going to the sitemap and trying to find out who owns it. And then from there, I went down this rabbit warren of like, shit, Heaven's Gate is still going. And they truly are as well. But we'll get there. So we're going to start with, are we alone in the universe, Heather?
I mean, sometimes I be feeling alone, but like, oh wait, we ain't talking about that. No. Okay, so my opinion real quick is I don't know, Scott, because like I ain't never seen an alien.
No, nor have I. And what I'm about to say now is going to make you all think of this. So a little while ago, I think we even mentioned it on one of our previous episodes, the US Congress held a meeting where they interviewed a former soldier who had explained that they had encountered aliens and UFOs and they'd recovered the bodies and there was no real evidence of it. Not to be outdone, south of the border in Mexico, the Mexican government literally said, hold my beer. We can do it better. So back in late September, I don't know how to go into this. They were having a discussion with scientists about in Mexican Congress whether aliens were real. And the scientists went, yes, they are. And they went, have you recovered bodies from the crash sites? And the scientists went, yes, we have. And they went, can we see them? And when they'd done this in the US, the bloke went, no. When they'd done it in Mexico, the guy went, of course you can. In fact, we have them here. Let us bring them out. And they then brought out 2 boxes with alleged mummified bodies of aliens, which honestly looked like E.T. when he got sick. But they then went on to say that they'd been tested, and they showed videos of these things being MRI'd and scanned and DNA tested, and saying they had no human DNA in them. The claims have yet to be verified. They have been memed more times than anything. There's people who've done videos where they've recreated them out of paper mache, and a wonderful lady on TikTok recreated them out of cake, which was fabulous.
I mean, I don't know. I just think that people want there to be life outside of our world or Earth. And I get that. Could there be? I mean, we can't discover all the other planets and stuff, right? Like some we can't go to. So like, can we for sure say that there's not some type of living something there? Maybe. But I think, is it called aliens because like they may not be human? And it could be like a species of like it could be some type of an animal or just another worldly being. So that's my thing is like, why do we have to go to aliens immediately?
I don't know. And like these could quite easily be mummified children, as horrible as that is. That's probably more likely what they are.
It could be, but you're saying that they said there's no human DNA.
Not been verified yet. That's just the one scientist went, well, I'm telling you they're aliens. And Mexican Congress went, okay, we believe you.
Yeah, too many margaritas. And then,
it does pose an interesting question, though, because there's a lot more alien stuff happening at the moment. It's all over the news.
Yeah.
And do Heaven's Gate have some kind of justification for their belief? Because in the 90s, we remember this, early to mid 90s, UFOs were a big thing. You had Unsolved Mysteries was always about aliens. You had the X-Files. It was so in popular culture. Did they just go, well, this kind of makes sense. Maybe aliens are like the overlord beings and we're just like a little ant farm. And I kind of understand how they got in the headspace that they did.
Me too, because they could have literally just used, like, it'd be like an interest. They can use aliens because it wouldn't make them seem too far-fetched or too crazy, right? Until you start getting into the religious aspects of it, what they did. But like a group of people believing in UFOs or aliens, that wouldn't be so strange. So I think they took that as part of their thesis. And they were like, well, we'll mix it in with this crazy ass, like, cult shit that we're trying to do. But guess what? That's how they got the people to join, because those people, I think, specifically would be like, oh, no, I do believe in aliens, and like, let me hear more. And then it's like it roller coastered into something else, basically.
The thing is, though, and I'm not bashing religion before anyone comes at me, but if you compare the two and you say there are aliens and we have alleged photographs and videos of UFOs and spacecrafts and all this kind of stuff, and then you say religious, where you have a mystical being who lives in the sky who makes everything happen, he sent his son here, he now lives in the sky too, but we have no photos or any evidence about that, but we've got a book from 1,000 years ago. There's a point where someone goes, well, if I weigh those two up against each other, I probably sway more to aliens than I do to God. It's kind of, if you're looking at it from a purely critical standpoint, especially if you are being indoctrinated into that world, they're going to latch onto the I want to go to the spaceship part of their cult.
Okay, I get what you're saying, but I also think that whenever the religious side of it comes in, the whole part of like what they practice is that they have faith, right? So they're, regardless of knowing, like, because they haven't seen God or Jesus, they're relying on their faith. Like, and that's kind of how they build up that interpretation of like, well, this is what feels real to me, because like they have faith in, I don't want to say hoping, but like kind of, but they have that faith to carry them through to believe. And but it still works both ways. It works with aliens. It works in whatever you believe in. That's the thing. Like you can believe in Buddhism, God, you could be Christian, whatever. Okay. All the things, they all have an aspect of faith to them. If you think about it, because you're believing in something. So there you go.
It's so we put out a poll to ask if our listeners believed aliens existed. 82% of them said that they did. So I then went on from this to go, well, that was a higher number than I was expecting. Share your thoughts is basically what I said. They did not disappoint. So Dewey Podmonster shared a picture of the 3-boobed alien from Total Recall and put, if that's what we're getting, I welcome our evil overlords.
You don't need 3 titties. That's too much. 2 are enough.
This Girl Loves Horror said there must be something else out there but us. K-Lampe 5678, basic life forms, probably not little green men. I kind of...
like I get that. That's what I'm saying, is like it's a life form. Thank you.
Eric 82. There's got to be intelligent life out there because it's lacking on this planet, but I doubt they visited us.
He ain't lying.
He's not wrong.
Eric be showing up in our stuff, doesn't he? He's very engaging. Thank you, Eric 82. I always want to think he's somebody else, and then I'm like, no, because I know the other Eric, but this one I don't know.
And then we've got Skellington fan Skelly. If they're real, they can't be that intelligent studying this dumbass planet.
Or is a joke on us, Skelly, and they are, because they're like, how stupid are those humans? We are pretty stupid. Like, seriously, this fucking earth is going to hell in a handbasket. Like, there you go. There's my Southern delight, because it's true.
There is the argument that we are purely their entertainment and they tune into us
shit. We're
their stories. We're their sitcom. We're their version of Friends.
It's like we're like the Truman Show, but like alien version.
I like that. Before we get into more about this case, I want to do True Crime Corner because it's a completely tonal shift, and I kind of want to do it now because there's lots we need to talk about after, and then I want to go back into crazy alien talk.
Yes.
This story is hard to stomach. There's two sides to every story, so I've split it into two parts. The first part is the bit that was told in the papers and to the world. And the second part of this story is from the friends of the convicted man who confided in them before his conviction and after his conviction with letters.
Okay.
So it's the mid-90s, and the body of a 76-year-old man, an army veteran, was discovered in a mobile home, strangled and beaten to death. Shortly after, a 17-year-old boy was arrested and charged with murder and robbery. Police and judicial systems saw it as an open-shut case, and despite several claims of previous abuse from the victim to the suspect, the trial, the boy was found guilty and sentenced to life imprisonment, where he still serves today. That's the bare bones of the story that was in the press, but I want to share a much darker side of the story to this, with the permissions of the friends who this young man went to straight after he'd committed this murder. And the letters that have then been received since from prison. We're going to go back a few years, back before the 17-year-old boy, when he was a pre-teen. So the man who was called victim, the man, we'll call him Bob, was a decorated war veteran. That's 100% true. He even let runaway kids having problems use his home as a safe place to stay. However, in many cases, this was a front portrayed to the world. The boy in this story, we'll call him John, needed a safe place to stay, and Bob abused his position and performed sexual assaults on this boy. This continued until later life, where he eventually snapped and killed his abuser, using multiple cords to strangle him and beat him until he couldn't beat him anymore. Believe it or not, this was brought up in trial, and the prosecution palmed this off as a relationship between Bob and John, and the jurors bought that. What makes this even worse is the police found photographs of naked boys in the home, along with a load of regular standard porn. But again, this was brushed aside and not admitted into evidence. From what I can tell, they just wanted to close the case and convict this boy. I would argue this boy being 17, had this boy been a girl telling the jury the same story, the likelihood of a lifelong sentence would have been far less. The likelihood they would have investigated it deeper is higher. There's a real weird view in the world when it comes to men being victims of abuse that is not possible, or that questions are asked like, why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you stand up for yourself? Why has it taken you this long to do something? Why did you let it go this long? And when it's a female, that tends to be a different perspective. Men's abuse is viewed very differently by law enforcement and by the general public. It just is. I think this boy should have gone to prison. He definitely needed to serve time for taking someone's life. The fact that his victim was his abuser is not an excuse that he'd done that. Do I think he should still be behind bars from the mid-90s to now? I don't think he should. As an abuse victim, instead of being given help, he was sent to jail. The fundamentals of the system, in my opinion, are at fault. This was an old dude who was allowed to operate a safe space for runaways. It hasn't been investigated since it went to trial. Like, why not? Why has the boy's claims been ignored? Why is this okay? That's the stories that I've got, and I kind of want to get your take on it.
Well, okay, so we're going to go back a little bit on the, like, had it been a female, that they might have not been pushed or questioned in the sense of, like, why didn't you do this? But part of that is true, and part of that is not. Actually, my opinion is that, like, a lot of times, yes, men get overlooked, and this not only goes for sexual abuse, but also domestic violence as well. You don't expect to hear the woman being the perpetrator. You expect it to be the man beating the woman, not vice versa. So a lot of that stuff, as a fucked up world that we live in, it's so taboo for that to, like, a man is supposed to be like, I'm supposed to be a really man, right? And that's just a bunch of bullshit, because, like, fuck all that. Nobody has time for that. We don't want your fucking toxic masculinity. That's exactly what it is. So I get that, but girls also can get the shit end of it too. I know I've read and heard many cases where women, they'll be like, well, why didn't you just leave him? Okay, well, first of all, I'll share a little quick, short personal part about me. I was in an extremely abusive, emotionally, mentally, physically relationship when I was very young. And it's not that easy. So you don't dare tell someone, and where's the audacity to just be like, why don't you just get up and leave? Like, first of all, you don't know the psychological effects that it has on you. And, you know, this was my daughter's dad. So many years have passed, of course, not in that relationship, but still, abuse is abuse. And I don't think it should not be identified as male or female, and they should both be treated equally. Like, if a man gets sexually abused, or like, still treat it the same fucking way. He's a victim, especially like a 17-year-old kid who was just looking for a place to stay, and this fucking sick old man is like doing this shit to him.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's disgusting. It's terrible.
And seeing some of the newspaper reports, because the person who gave us this story shared some of the newspaper reports with me as well. It was Army veteran killed by drug addict boy. It was.
That's where they get everybody, because they trying to victim blame. Yeah,
and it's so wrong.
Ridiculous.
This case really, really got to me. For so many reasons. And I want to say, if anyone out there, male or female, is suffering any sort of physical, sexual, emotional abuse, reach out to someone, anyone you can. People will help you. Despite what happened in this case, there are people who will talk to you and give you advice and get you out of that bad place. That there are people who can do that. I also want to get anyone else's thoughts who's listening to the show. If you've got a thought on this case, or a case you want to share yourself, you can send that yourunpodcast@gmail.com. I want to say a huge thank you to Dawn of Can't Afford Diamonds on Instagram for sharing so much information, including newspaper clippings, photographs, letters from prison. It's honestly one of the hardest things that I've read through. But Dawn's account, Can't Afford Diamonds, is incredible. Go and give her a follow. Some of the coolest stuff you'll ever see, especially the jewelry. It's so it's super unique. I can't even begin to describe what her account does. It's just go and have a look. It's Can't Afford Diamonds on Instagram, and it's absolutely awesome. Thank you again, Dawn. I know it was emotional for you to share it with me, and we spoke about it a lot, and thank you so much. Like I said, if you've got a story you want to share, yourunpodcast@gmail.com. And now, on that somber note, we're going to go back to incredibly crazy aliens. I think the best way to break the tension is just get someone to help us.
We are going to have the Air Force, and we are going to have the Space Force.
This
is me. Did you see me? I wish America could see this. This is vote for me. Vote for Pedro.
That's two birds, isn't it? That's two birds. You just flipped me.
I know, that's two of them. So double, like double it. Yeah, we don't want to talk about him. He bad too. He orange as hell. Anyway.
Yeah, he's orange.
Tan too much.
Yeah,
and that hair.
He's orange. The other one's senile. Your options are not great. Nor are ours in the UK. Ours are bad.
The other one is supposedly a skinwalker. That's what I saw. Because they said, look at his forehead move. And I was like, bitch, he's like 92.
Yeah, like, he's reached the age now where his skin is actually pulling away from his bone.
I think he has dementia, however you say it. Like, seriously? Like, he's way too old to be the president of any of the states of Americas.
Heather for 2024.
Oh, God, I don't want to be responsible. Scott, I have to keep my kids alive and me, and that's hard enough.
Let's do some crazy facts about Heaven's Gate.
Alrighty.
They went out for a last meal. Did you know this?
I did. And they went to, it was like a buffet thing. Was it like a buffet?
No,
like
it was
a restaurant where you.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, it wasn't a buffet.
They had buffet there, but they actually ordered a set meal. So they, as part of their thing, it was like Applewhite's like, no, you can't go to the buffet. We're all going to have a little bit like the Last Supper. We're all having the same thing.
Yes.
So the waiter said it was like it was set up before they come in, so they all had iced teas to drink. They had dinner salads before with tomato and vinegar dressing, turkey pot pie for the entree, and cheesecake with blueberries for dessert. The waiter went on to say they seemed very nice, very friendly, very polite. No one seemed depressed or anything like that.
I saw the footage of them eating in one of the documentaries. Like they had some, I saw this sitting at the restaurant. Yeah. I'm like, that's the most boring ass, bland last meal. Applewhite, get your ass out of here. I don't want any of that shit.
And the thing is, none of them were depressed because they were all genuinely happy.
No, they were happy.
They were going to go. They were going to the afterlife. They were over.
They were going to see Bonnie.
Yeah,
Bonnie is the bitch. She's the best bitch, obviously.
We spoke about the Nike trainers on the last episode, and I said they become a collector's item. So the Nike trainers were Nike Decades in black and white from 1997. They're as much as $16,000 a pair now.
Yeah, they're I know people that have gotten some, not spent that much on them, but you legit could if you had your hands on them.
Yeah. So Nike were not happy when this went all over the news. It was bad. No. It was advertising, but it was bad advertising. Their sales reportedly went up on those trainers by 15% the following month.
Their logo is "Just Do It," and I think Applewhite took that way too literal.
He did. And the funny thing is, the only reason Applewhite bought those trainers is the Nike Decades were on sale in the shop near the compound where they all committed suicide.
Well, yeah, he's cheap. I mean, you saw what they had for dinner, but also I have to interrupt you. You're saying Nike. You don't say Nike. We say Nike. Okay.
No, we don't say Nike. It's like we say
it's like aluminum foil. I don't have time for this fucking conversation. I will make me an aluminium.
Yeah, and we do Adidas, and you do Adidas.
Oh my God,
Adidas.
That's what it sounds like. Are we having a fiesta? What is going on?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we just don't.
What do you get when you have a Brit and a Southerner? It's like the most mixed pot of soup you'll ever have in your life.
In 1975, the group went to a small town in Oregon, and they were given a lecture on UFOs. Saying that they're soon going to be in contact with the human race. According to an article of the New York Times, about 150 people turned up and packed the hall. At first, the town thought it was a joke, but soon 20 people, then 30 residents of the town, and then all these people turned up, and the town and the mayor was like, "Oh, this is just ridiculous! All these weird people coming in. They're gone now." About a week later, 30 residents packed up, said goodbye to their loved ones, and drove off and joined Heaven's Gate.
Yeah, I know. But that's how they get them. They throw all their belongings away. It's just like Scientology shit, too. They do that shit, too, right? Because they, get you. They'll never leave you alone.
I've seen some of Applewhite's, sermons that he gives and these talks and these meets, and I'll be honest, he does not sell it enough for me to go, that's a great idea.
No, he's really bland. He's fucking bland like their last dinner they had. Who the fuck eats turkey pot pie? I mean, I've had pot pie. I make my own, but it's delicious. But they got some bland ass, I don't even know. Gross.
$7.95.
Yeah, it's cheap shit, right? You should have just had the buffet. I don't know what's wrong with y'all.
Yeah, I don't get it. So apart from abandoning your family, turning over all your money and possession to the cult, they asked you to cleanse your body. And this involved what they called a master cleanse that was invented in the 1940s. This is just insane. So the cult member, basically what they've done, there's a cult member called Rio D'Angelo who come up with this, like to put this into the cult. This is also the guy, they received an anonymous tip to report all of the people who had died. It was actually Rio D'Angelo who'd done that because he received a parcel from Applewhite on the day of the suicide to give him his instructions following what had happened.
Yeah, that was part of one of my fun facts.
Oh, was it? Sorry.
yeah. No, you're good because you're going into my fun facts. So I'm reading it as you're saying it. I was like, oh, we did the same thing.
So what you had to do to cleanse yourself is drink nothing but a mixture of lemonade, cayenne pepper, and maple syrup for 3 entire months.
But how are you going to live? Like, okay, that's all they had, right? So how the fuck? Man, you would doo-doo in it. I don't even know if you would doo-doo. You would just be like, would it make you shit a lot? I don't even know. I love maple syrup, though. I switched instead of having that high fructose corn syrup bullshit. I love maple syrup, but I'm not fucking drinking it.
No. Maple syrup and lemonade, that sounds quite nice. Stick a couple of vodkas in there, and I'm going to drink that all day long.
Like a weird cocktail. Maybe it'll work, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want the cayenne pepper. I don't like cayenne pepper anyways. No, I don't like stuff like that.
I don't get it. But so Rio D'Angelo, there's a couple of cult members who didn't go with the cult. There's 3 that I know of for fact. D'Angelo was one of them. And on the day of the suicide, letters were sent out to the 3 members that I know. Rio D'Angelo's basically explained that now was the time. This is when the mothership is coming. We're leaving. Your job now is to come to where we are and make sure everything's gone to plan.
Yeah.
And then inform law enforcement that that's happened. So Applewhite had a plan to make sure that their bodies were found, which I find bizarre.
Yeah, I don't know why he would care, right? I don't think I ever really understood that. Like, why would you, like, if you're dead, why do you care? But maybe it was like the whole, like, it was a presentation.
Yeah, it's so odd. The other 2 people who received a letter were Mark and Sarah King, and they were staying behind as well. And their letter told them to keep the good word going, keep the website going, and sell books.
Yeah.
Which they are still doing to this day. So Heaven's Gate is now owned and run by the Teller Foundation. So the Teller Foundation is the evolutionary level above human. And this is what is in the teachings of Heaven's Gate. They're going to ascend to the evolutionary level above human. That's where they were going. And that's what Teller stands for. Teller don't do any preachings of their own, but they're still selling out all of the Heaven's Gate, basically books and teachings. How many copies of their book, and I deliberately didn't put it in the notes, I saw you look down, how many copies of their book do you think they sold in 2020 is the last thing I could get for it?
I don't even know. Like, that's me. I don't know. I'm still thinking about the fucking turkey pot pie, but anyways.
They sold 16,000 copies.
That's bullshit. I wrote better stories sitting on the toilet. Whatever.
So in 2020, 16,000 people bought their book for $24.99.
Jesus Christ.
I know.
Cracker. Just need to make up some bullshit and get it published.
I've been diving down in some Reddits and subreddits over the last couple of months while we knew this was coming. There is lots of talk of Teller and Heaven's Gate rising again now with the new birth of the aliens
stuff. Yeah.
And there is now a talk that the group are going to start putting out messages again about another ascension, and it's time for the cult members to come together again to ascend.
Look, if you do not show up for a recording, I know what happened.
I'm definitely not going to the mothership, and I'm definitely not having chicken pot pie for my last meal. They can fuck off.
Bonnie's the only good thing that came out of this. I don't know why I'm like obsessed with Bonnie now. Like, I just think Bonnie did not have ill intentions. We went over this before, you guys. I'm telling you, I think Bonnie was little Looney Tunes, and that's okay. And then Applewhite and his bug-eyed bitch ass self had to come in, and now he wanted everybody to cut their ding-dongs, or not their dings off, but their ball. It's so crazy to me. You ruined Bonnie. Bonnie just wanted to be weird. And y'all fucked it up for her.
Let's put it modern time. So if it happened, if that cult started today,
okay.
Bonnie would have an Instagram page and a YouTube channel where she talked about aliens and that she thought.
That's what I think.
That's what Bonnie would have done.
I want to throw something in too I know we're getting close to the end of our episode, but going over fun facts, originally these cult members were told that they weren't going to have to die. That's the thing. They were told that, you don't have to die to ascend to your higher place. And basically they'd be able to exit the vessels or whatever, their containers.
Yeah.
So that is why they stayed, because they weren't going to, I don't think they thought, okay, this is going to sound crazy, but you're listening to True Crime You Run podcast. So there you go. But I think even though they did the mass suicide, I almost think that they didn't think they were killing themselves. That's my crazy theory in my brain. I think that they didn't think they were going to actually die.
No, so when the cult first started, there was one way that you could achieve this level of going up, and that was being picked up by a teller, the evolutionary level above human. One of those would come and collect you and basically abduct you. That was one way to ascend. As the teachings went on, they added a second way to ascend, which was if you died by accident. So if you were in a tragic car crash or you were struck by lightning, that would automatically get you taken to the next level above. If you were murdered, you wouldn't go to the next level above, but if it was an accident, you would. It was a natural ascension. And it wasn't until after Bonnie died that Applewhite added the option of a forced ascension, and you could only do that at certain times. And he was waiting for there to be a big astrological event, and it just so happened that the Hale-Bopp meteor was that's perfect. That's coming right past Earth. I'm going to use that. That is the day and time, because they'd done it over 3 days, and they'd done 19 people the first day, 18 people the second day, and then I think it was 9 on the day after. And it was almost an equal split of men and women. But he needed that specific event, because it was you can't just commit suicide on a Tuesday afternoon and ascend. It's got to be on this specific time when I say so.
Well, see, that's just so stupid. What I'm saying, you were not giving Bonnie anything by doing that. Bonnie didn't want this.
No,
I mean, she died, and that was unfortunate in that sense, just because she died. But again, this is fucking Marshall. I swear. He's the one that made this. It wouldn't even have been a cult. I don't think this would have never probably even been on our radars, maybe. Unless she got did some weird shit and it was on social media, like you said. But it wouldn't have been I'm pretty positive Bonnie did not want anybody to die, in quotations.
No, and the other thing I'd done is I had a look to see if there was any alien-y style cults like this now. There are a few. There are still a few about. There's one in, where was it? It's somewhere outside California, where apparently they've got 40 people who live in a house who believe that aliens are going to take them one day, but they're not. They're quite in the public eye, and they're on social media, and they're trying to recruit, and they're very much we don't believe in suicide. It's just a case of when you die, the aliens come get you.
No, if 40 people lived with me, Scott, I'd be wanting to be dead too. I can't. No, thank you. I don't take me, alien Jesus. That's me. No.
But I think maybe they will rise again. Who knows? We may all of a sudden start getting Heaven's Gate stuff back in the news, and if we do,
I mean, maybe. I just hope it doesn't. Okay, that's the thing. Like I said before, do what you want to do. Go do your thing. Go be weird. Go do your cult. Don't hurt anybody. But don't be committing a mass suicide again. We have enough bad shit going on in this world. We do not need people to be dying for no fucking reason.
No, we really, really don't.
Don't do that.
You know what time it is?
Is it time?
It's time for Heather to have a sing-song.
Let me drink a little sippy of my wine. Look, I'm going to let you know now, and everybody listening. Hold on a second. I hope y'all didn't hear that. ASMR. There we go. Anyways, I haven't done a song in a while because normally I'll be thinking of shit like while we're recording, and I'm just like, oh, that's so funny. So I'll have it and put it in my phone. But
yeah, we done
I wanted
H.H. Holmes, which did give you no inspiration at all.
Stop talking about him. That's as bland as turkey pot pie. Anyways, so I was thinking, and you may not even know the song, and that's okay if you don't, but somebody out there does. But this is my thing. I want to actually dedicate this episode to Bonnie, because Bonnie was my homegirl, I think. Like in another life she could have been, because I really don't think she wanted to bother anybody. Now, no. I'm looking this up thinking of like, how can I dedicate this to Bonnie? And there's this traditional Scottish folk song. And I think it's even like some people regard it as like a love song. And so we're going to kind of dedicate it to Bonnie, and it's called My Bonnie. And This is how it goes. I changed it. But anyways, you guys, so you might know. Anyways, my Bonnie went up in a spaceship. My Bonnie is now set free. Well, my Bonnie went up in a spaceship. Yeah, please bring my Bonnie back to me. Bring back. Please bring my Bonnie back to me. And anyways, if you really hear the real song, because that sucked really bad, but literally that's all the song is. It goes, bring back my Bonnie to me. Look it up. It's a Scottish folk song. So you Scottish people, y'all like that shit. Look it up, Scott. I'm serious. My Bonnie.
Okay, I'll have a look. And I want everyone to be really excited for our next extended cut.
Oh,
so our next extended cut, the next time Heather speaks, and the next case we're covering, I'm not going to tell you what unsolved murder we're covering. I'm just going to give you a quick audio clip that may instantly make you understand.
Teasing people.
First off, fuck your bitch and the click you claim. West side, when we ride, come equipped with game. You claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife. We bust some bad boy.
I'm about to start crip walking. Y'all better get out of my way.
So that is a clue. If you follow us on Instagram and you were voting in the polls, you know what unsolved murder we're covering, where someone has actually just been arrested 29 years later for that crime.
We're not going to get into that yet, because I'm going to do some more digging on that. But I'm just like, did you have? I feel like it was. I don't know yet. I don't know yet how I feel about it. It seems kind of dumb.
And this case was probably at the peak of mine and Heather's existence when we developed our interest in everything. So interest in music, interest in conspiracy theories, interest in horror movies. This was right in the middle of that. So
this was the pinnacle of my, like, I wouldn't say preteen, because we were already like teenagers, like 13, 14, 15. And so I remember getting this I had a cassette tape. Okay. Cassette tape. I remember my mother buying me this cassette tape of the artist, and she didn't know it had curse words in it, cuss words, whatever, naughty language. And I remember I had one of those, like the headphone, what do you call those? Oh my God, I forgot what they're called. Anyway, Walkman, something like that. And I was listening to it. My mom's like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, bitch, you bought it for me. You cussing at me right now. Listen to the lyrics. And it was nasty, because it was like talking about like bitches and hoes. So yeah, it's not great, but I loved it.
Yeah,
that's what I was into.
We're going to go into all of it. We're going to go into
the
war that led to that big rivalry, that led to that murder, the investigations that come after, the conspiracy theories that man lives in Cuba, and that conspiracy holds water. That dude in Cuba sounds and looks just
I know. My daughter, believe me, over the years, it's surfaced so many times. But I think like it's going to be hard to like live up to that potential of trying to do a song, because this episode song wasn't that great. It's whatever. I don't really care what you guys think of my singing. I think it's top notch, amazing. But anyways, I might have to pull out some of my old school dances, because
I tell you what, on the next episode, when we get to extended cut next time,
Yes.
I will write a rap. I will rap something as well. If Eminem can do it, I can do it.
Yes, take the pressure.
Yeah.
Hey, are we going to go there? Eminem is not that bad.
I'm going to be a white boy rapper. Think more Vanilla Ice than Eminem. That's where I'm going.
Yeah, you are more Vanilla Ice.
I am.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope you're looking forward to our next episode, which is going to be wild. Make sure you leave us a review wherever you can. There's Apple, there's Spotify. There's loads of other sites you can do it on as well. And I can now see written reviews in our analytics because I've bought a program that allows me. It pulls all the reviews from wherever you've put them into one place. Heather, take us away.
Okay, you guys. First of all, I want to just apologize real quick for that shitty song. You don't understand. Like, the pressure that's put on me to be a performer is really, it's intense. Scott knows it's intense. And I'm trying because I want to keep the engagement going. But anyways, we do hope that you enjoyed the episode. Stick around for the next case because it's going to fucking be amazing.
Yeah.
Until next time, you guys stay safe, stay spooky, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye, guys. See you later.
True crime.
True crime. True crime.
True crime.
True crime. Your true crime. You want the boring stuff? Shit. You in the wrong place.
I hear shots. Okay, ma'am, calm down. What kind of shots?
I was branching out. That's when the cannibalism started. Eating of the heart and the arm muscle.
People say Ted Bundy didn't show any emotion. There must be something in that. I showed emotion. You know what people said? See, you really can get violent and angry.
As long as I can reach in your mind and control your fear because you're a coward, I'm going to play any game and I can play on you all the way to the White House.
The cops knew who I was and let me become a serial killer.
Making me feel that they were a part of me.
Give me the fire department or the police or the paramedics. Somebody. I don't care. You decide.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Well, we ain't like everybody else.